Welcome to the video, everyone. So here's training week 1. I'm prepping for a competition, a powerlifting competition, in about 11 weeks. So I'm going to record each week of training, talk about it on the channel. If that's something that you're into, something that you think you would enjoy, give the video a like, and that'll let me know to keep doing them. If there's a certain thing that you'd like me to include, like my warm-up, if you want me to put the weights on the screen, those kind of things, please comment below and I will make sure that I'll get around to doing that. So this program, this is day 1, is 6 days a week for the first couple of weeks, and then we'll move into another phase. I won't go too much into detail about the programming because I pay for the coaching and I don't want to obviously just give away all of Daz's secrets. So for day 1, I actually made a mistake when I went to do my squats. I thought it was 12 reps and 3 sets of that, which is wrong. It was 3 reps and 12 sets. So the first video you saw me there is struggle through 12 reps of I believe that's 115 kilograms. So to make sure that I hit the right volume, I did 4 sets of 3 reps from there. I focused on my technique. I did the same cues that I always do when I load up on the squat, which is my hand position, bar position on my back, where my feet are, making sure I brace, and then descending into the squat. Now, this here is something that I'm not very good at and something I've never done before, which is an overhead squat, or as it says in the program, an Olympic squat. I don't have much weight on the bar here, but the main problems you'll probably see is how far my knees shift forward. Now, they don't cause me any pain, but it's just a little unbalanced. Really, I should be able to sit my hips further back, let the bar be behind my head. I just need a bit of better shoulder mobility. And therefore I won't shift forward, which you just saw there. So I'm not balanced, I'm not centered when it comes to this movement, and you'll see in a second I basically fail the rep. Now, I can squat 190 kilograms, but that's 40 kilograms on a bar, put it over my head, and I completely lose my balance. So this is working my quads, hamstrings, glutes, but mainly my core and just my overall focus on the movement. So I really want to get this right. Luckily, Donna and Amanda were also in the gym. They're not in the video, they're in the background watching me. They give me some cues, some tips to work on, and in the next clip you'll see me do the same movement with just a piece of wood. So, and that is how it's supposed to look. It's so much crisper, so much nicer. My knees do travel forward a bit, which they're supposed to, but nowhere near as much as when I have weight on the bar. So you can see here it's a bit better, but in the bottom I go a little too low and then my knees shift forward, as you can see there. So I'm going to consciously try and work on that. Here we've got pause squats. Now, you won't be able to tell from the first rep because I don't really pause. The weights do look like they've got a lot on compared to the first set of squats, but it's just because I've got bumper plates on. So that's I think that's 95 kilograms there. Yes, that's 95 kilograms for, I believe, a set of 8 to 10 pauses. So how I try and do my pause is I try and count the rep in the bottom. So if this was my 8th rep, I'd count 8 Mississippi and then come back up. That's how I find it best to keep on track of how many reps I've done and also actually to pause. So we're trying it from the side angle to make sure I hit depth and to make sure I don't shift my knees too far forward. And as you can see, when I do my normal squat, my knees don't shift very far forward. I'm able to put my hips back, and this is something I'm going to try and work on. You can see my pauses are a lot more pronounced now, and I've got a lot more stability in the bottom. And that is what a power squat creates. It creates that tension in the bottom for you to create force to drive straight back out. It's a great movement, and I've found it really beneficial for squats for a long time now. I first did power squats a couple of years ago, and my squat shot right up. So if you don't do power squats, give them a go, especially if you struggle with depth, because you basically learn where depth is. And that's the end of the first day. There is some ab work, but I didn't film it because I need it my phone to count down, but it's planks, and I do 30-second planks. Here is day 2. I didn't actually film anything other than this set. Now the reason for that is because me and the training partner that I was training with here, Jay, we had such a good training session that I completely forgot about my phone and just focused on the work. This is 90 kilograms for a set of 10. Now I wish I'd have filmed my first set because that was a rep PR. I've never done more than 11 with 90 kilograms, and to hit 12 and then to hit 10 for my second set, which was a pretty big milestone for me. Really happy with my form, happy with the speed, the bar path, really good. So this is day 3, and this is the fun day because it's deadlifts. Now deadlifts is something that I really want to improve upon. So I really take a lot of time focusing on where my feet position is, where my hands are, where my hips are in relation to the bar. And here I'm doing, I believe this is 160 kilograms for just 2 reps. And I can't remember how many sets it is, but it's over 5 sets of 2. And it's just to focus on the movement pattern. This is all about perfecting form. It's not about the weight, it's about perfecting form. So that's all I'm caring about right now. That's what I'm concentrating on, is where my body is in 3D space and what it looks like afterwards. So my hips rise up a little bit before they should. So maybe I need to start with my hips a little higher and then try and drive those hips forward instead of them coming up, which puts me in a worse position because I'm further over the bar, and therefore the bar will swing away from me and I will lose tension and I will round my back, which is obviously not something we want. That was that last set. Now we're on to block pulls. These are a 3-inch block pull. This is 170 kilograms, so it's more weight, and as you can see, it pulls me right out of position. I'm treating it as if it's my normal stance, but it's 3 inches up off the ground, so I should be closer to the bar. I should be where the bar would be, where the movement starts. Does that make sense? That probably doesn't. I need to put myself in the position that I would be in at this point in the deadlift, is what I mean. So after talking to my coach, after that bad first set, I then went and spoke to him. He gave me some tips, told me what I was doing wrong. Basically, I was too far away from the bar, and therefore that rep felt so much better, and I was able to get 2 decent reps out with these block pulls. You'd think with it being higher off the ground, they'd be easier to do, but it's really not. It's actually really quite challenging. Something that maybe you want to throw into your own program. And here are some front squats. Again, these I do shift my knees quite far forward, because if my hips go too far back, the bar will just fall off my shoulders at the front. I don't use the kind of proper positioning where you hook your fingers under the bar. I don't have the shoulder mobility for that. It just hurts, and because I don't need to do that for Olympic weightlifting, because that's not what I do, I'm a powerlifter, I'll just use the bodybuilding crossed arms. It doesn't hurt as much, still uncomfortable. But here we are, some front squats. Here's the front position. You can see the speed is okay. There is some shifting around in the bottom, and I would like to improve upon that in the future. Oh, and I managed to actually do some filming of me doing some planks. So when it comes to my planks, I do have an ileostomy. You've probably seen it poke out a bit, especially in this training session. Reason why it pokes out, 1, because I think it had a bit of stuff in it, and I didn't want to stop training to empty a small amount just because it pokes out a little bit. I'm not that fussed. 2, My core is my weakest part, and I'm trying to build that up. However, disclaimer, do not do this unless you are working with a trained professional. Do not copy my workouts if you have an ileostomy, because I don't want you to get a hernia because of me, because you are at risk doing any core movements. So work with a trainer or start with machines. But if you have an ileostomy, really, really be cautious about getting a hernia. Don't just go straight in and copy what I'm doing. If you were paying attention, we've gone to day 5. That means we've missed day 4, because day 4 I had to go to a different gym before I went to work. That was at like 7 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't film with my camera. It was just some some accessory work, so it didn't really count as much as my squats do. And here we are. I'm actually doing sets of 12 this time. This is a part of the program. It's absolutely nails, because this is 105 kilograms, 4 sets of 12. And I'm just mentally gassed. I couldn't do a straight 12 without having a bit of a pause and a breather at the top. How I broke these down is I did 6, 4, and then 2, or I do 5, 3, 2, and 2 to get the volume in. When I say I paused, I mean I'm literally stopping at the top and taking a breath, as you can see. And I was pretty proud that I managed to get through all of the sets, because it says you can do 8 to 12, but every session counts right now. So I wanted to do 12 reps. I wanted to push it. Here we are again with the overhead squats, the Olympic squats, which I'm terrible at. Still not sitting my hips back enough. Still traveling too far forward with my knees. Something I really need to work on. Probably this is week 1, but week 2 this is something that is hopefully I'm going to change, because it's not really good enough. Not from my perspective anyway. And now we've got pause squats again. If you can tell, this is very similar to day 1, but the rep ranges change. So the weights change and the rep ranges change when it comes to this 5th day of training. These pauses are a lot better than the last ones. So yeah, you can just tell that it's just more of a consistent pause. I'm trying not to look down at all. I'm always trying to keep my eyes and my head up. And what I'm trying to do out of the bottom is I'm trying to go straight up. So I pause and go straight up. I don't dip down to try and cheat some of that elasticity from my muscle. You want to just pause, stop it, and then go straight up. Okay, so here's day 6. A pretty short day. I did 5 sets of overhead press, and the weights go up with each set. I think I started on about 40 and then ended up on 55 kilograms or something like that. The overhead press is a very humbling exercise, because you can do 100 kilogram bench press, but you put 50 kg on the bar for an overhead and do it for reps, and it will tire you out. And this is the last part of the video, just some pull-ups. So this was week 1. If you found this useful, if you enjoyed it, please like the video, comment below. I'll add a bit more into these as the weeks go on. If more people watch them, I will update you guys more often. Thanks for watching.